Rama 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 भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी राम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु। The heart is filled with gratitude and love when we think of this great fortune of grace, because of which we are able to gather here and sing His name. I tell you, never underestimate this. This is no small grace. In this Kali Yuga, there is every obstacle to be put in the path. And despite all this, if we could go on, carry on with this Nama Sankirtan, it is special grace from Bhagavan, and we owe Him a deep gratitude. We have offered our Nama lotuses at His feet, and today we shall continue to see what Swami Ramdas, Swami Sita Ramdas says about Nama. From the book Nami Ki Vani, Bhagwan was very fond of him and this particular book, that he would not give it to anybody. I wonder if he revealed it to anybody at all. But one day, as I said, narrated yesterday or perhaps day before yesterday, he went inside and brought this book and dropped it into my hand, saying, "You read it." It's all completely in Hindi, but it's a very beautiful book. And it leaves no stone unturned where Nama and the prabhav of Nama, the glory of Nama is concerned. Every aspect of the Nama is dealt with. Here are some of the points. When we chant the name, you don't get the concentration immediately. That's acceptable because that's in the very nature of people, the humans. Even if you get bad thoughts, it does not matter. Don't feel ashamed or anything. Just continue to chant the name straight away, no matter what. It is very important to continue chanting the name, no matter how many obstacles come in the form of thoughts. So, this is what Sitaramji says. Like when Agastya came towards the south, this Vindhya mountains stood up, blocking his way. Like that, when you start the spiritual journey, it may be something very simple as Nama Sankirtan, but even for that, there would be people ready to put obstacles. But know that all the obstacles, all the hardships that you have to go through will drop off like dry leaves from the tree. They'll fall away of their own accord. This has been the experience of many people in the path. And many people ask me again if they should continue the Gayatri and the reading of scriptures books like Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Vasishtam, Sitaramji says that until you come to a stage when you are completely immersed, drowned in the Nama, which floods your entire being, where it comes spontaneously like falls, you have to continue the other practices you have always been doing. Yes, do your Sandhya Vandan and Gayatri Japa. And if you have other Guru mantras that you have picked up, and the shlokas that you have always been reciting, continue with the Nama chanting. And one day the Nama will take over. And these other practices will merge into the Nama. So until then, until this point is reached, one should continue the practices one has always been doing. In the journey of life, you can call it life's journey, but you are deeply connected to God, committed to God and the path. Then you can say the life becomes a pilgrimage. And it's a pilgrimage to our heart center. From the outside world and all that it can offer by way of temptations and desires, you begin a journey towards inside you, from outside to inside, to the abode of Paramatma. That is where is true Vaikuntha, the true Kailash. That is the abode of all the temples that you visit outside. That is the abode of our Gurudev, our Bhagwan, Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar, in his pristine, primordial form. Now this pilgrimage, there will be occasions when the people whom you depended upon would abandon you. And there would be no security at all of any kind. Whatever you thought was security, the money security, the power security, the security of people, friends and relatives, the security of position in the society, security of weapons, everything would abandon you. And then you would be reduced to utter helplessness. That you would begin to wonder why I have started chanting the name. Instead of getting everything that I want, why is it happening? In the beginning, God gives you whatever you want. I remember the old the old Darshan Mandir, in the beginning, 94, when Bhagwan was seated there giving darshan, one day, in front of all the people, he suddenly shot a question to me. He said, Devki, what do you want? And thank God, by his own inspiration, by his own grace, part came the reply from me, because I was surprised myself. It couldn't have been me. It should have been only him. I said, I want to want what you want me to want, and nothing else. So, until then, we want things and we demand them from the divine. We expect, and when God doesn't give them, we are very disappointed. We get angry with him. We feel betrayed and let down. But there comes a point when you mature slowly, and then you feel that Whatever he wants you to want, only that you can want, and you have no choice. And he may give or may not give, and you will slowly begin to learn that whatever he gives is the best blessing, and there is no better alternative. So, we would be reduced to a state of utter helplessness where everybody ditches you, and all that you are left with is this Nama. And that is when God takes over. He's waiting for this moment. In Bhagavad Gita also, in the first yoga, Nishada Yoga, Arjuna is reduced to this point, and then he says, Karpanya dosha upahat svabhav, ruchami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha. He says, look, I've been reduced to this point. I do not know anymore what is dharma, what is adharma. What should I do? Where should I go? All I can feel is this agitation, agony. You please teach me. You teach me what is best for me. Though until then he was only a friend. He acted as a friend to Lord Krishna, but when it came to this point, suddenly he realized his true state of being human, a helpless human being, and he understood the power of Krishna. For the first time, his friend who has been playing with him, sharing his food, sharing everything with him, Arjuna regrets that I played with you like this, I treated you like this, I treated you like that. I just treated you like a friend, an ordinary friend. And now I realize you are God Himself. You please teach me what the best is for me. Sishyasteyaham shadim tvam prapannam. He says, I surrender to you as a disciple, and you teach me the best. So here we are all reduced to such a point at one time in life, and everybody would abandon, will ditch us, throw us into a gutter and go away. And that is the highest blessing that we could think of, because that is when God takes over. So let us not lose the strength. So let's believe, let's have this faith that Nama is our only security. God is our only security. Our Bhagwan Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar is our only security, and there is no other security. There was a time when Bhagwan used to tell me, don't believe, don't trust anybody in this world. Everyone is Maya. Today he will say one thing and tomorrow he will say something else. Those who do namaskar to you will kick you out tomorrow. Don't trust anybody in this world. This is the world. This is Maya. So what do? We do not know when the last moment comes, we would be able to chant the name, remember God, and how the body would be. And that is why the devotees have sung that for that moment, I may not be able to sing your name, I may not be able to remember your name even. So now, let me do all that I can do. Let me do the chanting of the name as much as I can. So it's like putting a deposit in the bank. So this Nama bank is our true security. And deposit as much as you can, while you still can. And Sitaram Das Swami says, Nama is like a gun. It's like an atom bomb. Bhagwan used to say atom bomb. Sitaramji says it is like a gun. Just shoot. All that you think comes in the way of your relationship with God, your kinship with God. Just shoot out all the opposite feelings, all the negativities of the mind. Take up the gun of Nama, and shoot out. And similarly, you can shoot out the obstacles that people put forth in the path. For some reason or the other, we have ourselves invited these obstacles by our past karmas. So they happen because of that. But we have this Nama gun. Let's be ready with it and shoot out all that is unwanted, both inside and outside, and go straight forward. Now what happens when you sing the name, when you chant the name is Chaitanya. Sitaramji says that when you call out, when you say bread, bread, when you call out bread, bread, you think the bread would come and fill up your stomach? There are people who ask us like this. Sitaram Das ji says, yes, the roti will not come, the bread will not come to you just because you call out, roti, roti, bread, bread. The bread will not come and fill up your stomach. Why? Because the word bread, the roti, is inanimate. But the name of God is animate. It's full of Chaitanya, it's full of life. It is the life of all life. It is empowered with the power of God. It is the concentrated power of God. So when you call out the name of God, not only roti, not only the food that you want, everything else would come also. The wealth will pour in, friends will pour in, all the affluence will come to you. Why? Because the name of God is the name of God. It is Chaitanya. It is the highest power of the divine. So when it happens, you know, all the restlessness of the body, the restlessness of the mind, they happen because of the prana inside, the vital force inside our human body. The prana keeps moving all the time, like our in-breath and out-breath. And apana is the air that goes down. And there are other pranas. The prana divides itself into 5 branches that each one will have a specific function to do. And these 5 pranas inside the body manage all the activities of the body. And the prana keeps moving all the time. The prana is restless. But as you keep on chanting the name, the prana is slowly controlled. And when you reach the peak of the path, the nama chanting, the prana becomes still. When the prana becomes still, you get into samadhi. You stop breathing also. So the nama will dissolve you in the nami. Until a certain point, nama would give you only solutions to the problems. But as you proceed further, the nama will give you dissolution. Not just solution, but dissolution of your entire being in the Nada Brahman. The nama itself will dissolve in the pranava. The pranava is the very first manifestation of sound, of the Parabrahman. It is called Nada Brahman, Shabda Brahman. And from this Shabda Brahman, the whole world has evolved. Everything that you see or hear in this cosmos has manifested from sound. There are sounds that you cannot hear, but they are there. There are lights that your physical eyes cannot see, but there are lights. And so you get, as you proceed, as you evolve with the name, ultimately the nama, the mantra, the Guru mantra dissolves in the pranava, and finally that pranava will dissolve in the Parabrahman, the Nada Brahman, the Shabda Brahman will dissolve in the Parabrahman. So Sitaramji says, when you get unwanted thoughts, you have the nama gun, you shoot out and they'll fly away. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, when a tree is full of crows and they're crying out, a jarring note, disturbing you, all you have to do, get up and start clapping your hands and you begin to sing the name to the beat of your hand. And you will see all the crows flying away. So these are the tips that we gather to drive away the unwanted thoughts, the rubbish of the mind and the rubbish of the outside. We see that Ma Kali, Bhavatarini, standing on the chest of Shri Shiva, Mahadev, and dancing. Mahadev is still, he is the Parabrahman in absolute stillness, the static energy. And it is his Shakti, the power of the Parabrahman, the Shakti is his divine consort, and she is dancing on his chest, meaning he is the foundation, he is the substratum, and with it, Ma Kali is dancing with all the weapons in one hand and also a cut head, dripping blood. The other hand is all sweetness. It is Abhaya Hasta. She says, look, you depend upon me and I will protect you. Do not fear, I am here. The other hand says, if you do anything that does not please me, beware. There will come a time and I would take it upon you. So, and here, when the Lord of Death comes to us, you spend all the time earning money or in the pursuit of pleasures, and at the end, when the Lord of Death comes to you and you tell him, sorry Swami, I did not have time for God, for worship of God. He will not take any excuses from you. He will do what he has to do. So beware, spend as much time as you can on the Nama and please the God. And our Bhagwan has said, if you want to be happy in life, you have to make God happy, and to make God happy is to chant his name. We shall now submit our today's prayer. We beg you, Bhagwan, chanting the name, we beg you 1,000,000 times for your immediate divine intervention to free the entire humanity from the dreadful grip of the virulent viruses and bring back a dharmic normalcy in all lives. We beg you to uproot all the negativities of the mind and to arrest the rapid spread of the disease. Enter those medicines so that they would kill the crowd of viruses once for all. The great warriors have been fighting the disease against all challenges and odds at the very risk of their lives. Please give them protection and all-round well-being. Of course, Bhagwan, you will be doing it yourself. You don't need us to tell you that. But all the same, praying to you for their sake will help ourselves. It will be good for us to do it. It will be our tapas. And we beg you for a lift to our economy. And above all, we seek your powerful blessings, the constant remembrance of this powerful Nama, the highly auspicious, divine, empowered name. And we beg you to give us the right attitude, the right awareness that we are only instruments already. We are yantras, we are the machines, and you are the operator. So let's be aware of this all the time and run our everyday life as an offering to you. And Bhagwan, we beg you again and again for that ultimate grace, when we would be able to see only your existence everywhere and your leelas in all happenings of life, and even in the worst suffering, the most cruel suffering, agony, only your grace. Because every suffering is a push towards God. Every suffering, when we are deprived of all the securities, or all that we thought were securities, we are left with only you, and we turn to you. And this is the best blessing for us. And we beg you again and again, soulfully, intensely, for that eternal living. Jai Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar.